The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I am Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 224.
Yeah, 224.
What are we doing?
This is Psychic Readings by me, Samantha Jones.
Cool. So
Hey.
last week was pets.
Yep.
This week is psychic.
Yep.
And then next week is...
Medium.
Cool. All right. Well, before we hop into that, anything that you want to share from last week's episode?
Yeah, so last week, like you said, we did the pet episode, and we normally record later in the week. It's Tuesday, so we normally record like Friday or Saturday. And so because it's Tuesday, I don't have a lot of feedback yet. People are still listening, but I do have one feedback that I can read.
Oh, go.
This is Yvette, and she was one of the people that had the Australian Shepherd. Not the, I don't think this was the hyper one, but let's read. Thank you so much for your reading. It all made so much sense. Everything. Archie, spot on. Choose everything. Rocks, wood, balls, plastic pots, you name it. I will make sure I check his teeth too. I remember he likes to, chew on things and the teeth. Yeah, okay. I'm glad he's happy. My Bo's energy I wondered about, but I know, yes, he's with me a lot. I love Archie to bits, but Bo was my soul dog. Lost 2 years ago now. I'm still not over losing him, but feel a really deep spiritual connection with him. He sends me birds as signs. So that validation meant a lot. Thank you so much again. Sending blessings. So thank you, Yvette. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Yvette.
Yeah,
That's cool. Good feedback.
Yes, very much. So, yeah, that's all that I have from last week.
Okay.
That's it. So we can, Did you want to talk about anything before we go into the episode, or you
Well,
want to
the Burning Man. I want to discuss the Burning Man thing.
Yeah, let's talk about
This
it.
is something you and I had talked about, maybe dreamt about. We weren't ever really serious. I had a really good friend. I do have a good friend named Keith, and he was always trying to get me to possibly go with him.
Yeah.
Except that, I don't know, that amount of dust. And
Yeah.
I have to have a lot of water at hand.
Yeah.
And you have to haul everything in and out
Yeah.
on your own. So that's a whole nother issue. I don't know if that would work for me. Unless I had some sort of camper that could hold multiple gallons of water, you know.
Well, do me a favor, because we have listeners all over the world, and not everybody knows what Burning Man is. So just explain briefly what Burning Man is.
That's a good idea. Thank you. Burning Man is a festival that's held in northern Nevada at once a year. It's on government land, ironically enough. It's rented to them or whatever, leased to them for this festival. And it's a very artistic place. And some of these art pieces that are created for this event once a year end up around the world. I've seen some of the pieces in San Francisco.
Yeah.
If you drive down by the piers, somewhere around there, there's like these giant arrows that look like they're going into the ground. That's actually by Pier 39, I think. That was originated at Burning Man.
Yeah.
So the very end of the festival, they have this giant wood man that they torch on fire. But it is unreal, this place. It's so...
Yeah, it's so cool.
The whole idea of it is everybody barters and helps each other.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool environment. Unfortunately, it's in a huge, very fine, flat dust bowl kind of area. And since the weather's been kind of wild for a lot of us, they got a ton of rain, and that turns that stuff into like quicksand.
Yeah, like clay quicksand. It's wild.
Like some huge 4x4 vehicles.
Yeah.
Jeeps and stuff that are up to the wheel well fenders in it. And you know that the tires on these things are huge.
Yeah, they didn't stand a chance.
They did not. Mm-mm. So, and people had to stay, they're calling it like a state of emergency, the government is.
Yeah.
And having to tell people to shelter in place because there's really no way for them to come in there, you know, I guess at this point.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I guess we're never going to go there.
Yeah, I know. I would love to. I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too old for that now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would have liked to go when we were younger, but that's okay. We live vicariously through the videos on TikTok and stuff like
they're
that.
so cool.
And I just can't imagine waiting your entire life for a trip like that. I mean, some people go every year, but
I know.
most people, it's probably like you go once and that's it. So you've waited your whole life for this trip. You go there and then you're stuck out there. I just saw a video that they're letting people go from there because they had to shut it down because people were trying to leave, like that guy in the Jeep, and it was very, very dangerous. But there were a lot of rumors too. I saw one on TikTok where the guy actually made it sound like he was involved in this rumor that turned out to be a rumor, and it was that Ebola was going around there, and there was like people in hazmat suits. I didn't hear Ebola. I just heard that there were sick people and they were coughing up blood clots and stuff like that. And so then when I Googled it, I remember to tell you, and I Googled it, and it was like, no, that's not real.
Fake.
That's fake. There was also like another one that they were putting a fence up around it so people couldn't leave, stuff like that, where no, they closed the gates, but you couldn't leave because it would have, just like the Jeep.
Right.
You weren't getting out of there.
How do they get that guy's car out of there? That's what I mean.
I don't know.
His wheels are totally submerged, and it's not even like mud.
Yeah, it's not mud.
And once it dries, like that thing seems like it's just going to sit there and rot.
Yeah.
That sucks for the earth.
I don't know. I would hope that they would be able to pull it out somehow. I haven't seen videos of anything yet of how they're trying to do it.
There has to be a way.
So many people go there with just like a tent. They rough it.
Yeah.
And then they got stuck roughing it during this. And, there's supply issues. And, so hopefully they're on their way home now, it looks like. Because, damn.
Well, prayers to all those people, because, man.
Yeah.
That's a good time gone bad.
Isn't it, though?
Real quick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I wonder, because a lot of the artwork that they have is mobile.
Yeah.
So it's got power.
It has power, yeah.
And it's got lights and mobile, and there's a lot of really neat things that they make. Even the cars that people make to drive there are really wild, eccentric, craftsmanship, but really neat pieces. It's very artistic.
It's very cool.
But with that kind of weather, I'm like, you can't even run that kind of power.
No.
You
can't.
So, anyways, good luck to all those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, then. Are we ready?
Yeah. You want to give our info before we
do
the episode?
Thank you, because we forgot that last week.
We did forget that last week. If you haven't caught up yet, or you don't know, we are in the process of moving.
Yeah.
So we're very scatterbrained.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that you guys have new content while we're going through this.
Yeah.
So that's what we are doing.
Yes.
So if you would like to find me, SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com, you can find everything you need to know about me there, including setting up an appointment and all of that good stuff.
Cool.
And then you, sir.
Yeah, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yay.
That's it for me.
All right.
And now we're ready.
Yay.
Episode 224, Psychic Readings by Samantha Jones.
Yay. All right. So these are a good assortment of different psychic readings. I'm looking forward to doing these. And if I run out, there were a couple of people that posted animals that that we had already recorded. Yeah. So I might do those too. So we'll see. Okay. See how much time we have.
All right.
So the first one is from Melissa. She says, "Hi, Samantha. I hope your move is going smoothly. This is my husband, Larry. We have been happily married for 31 years and recently retired. He has had tinnitus, the ear. How do you say that? Tinnitus? Tetanitis. Yeah, you're right, right? Tetanitis. Okay. For a long time, but over the last few years, it has gotten unbearable. He now suffers from depression and is quite withdrawn. We planned on traveling, but now he just wants to sit on the couch. My question is there anything I can do to help him? Is there anything causing this that we can fix or at least lessen it? We both try to stay strong, but it's taking a toll on our lives." And then another listener said that her husband also has it and that it's gotten worse over the recent years. Okay, so I have a little bit of it. I can, when it's really quiet, it's, like, I don't know what they hear, but for me, it's like the old static TVs. It's like all the time. Yeah. But then if I push my lower jaw out, it stops it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. So there's obviously some kind of an alignment issue there. So sometimes I definitely believe it can be caused by things like that. But let me see.
I mean, I have it, but I played a lot of years of music.
Yeah.
And also listening to music, but probably has more to do with playing it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he's very down on this. Very depressed about this and how it affects his life, how it affects your life, how it affects your marriage, how it affects the dreams and plans that you had for the future. And he definitely, at this point, is feeling very hopeless. I don't feel like it's hopeless, though. I don't know enough about this to give suggestions on treatments. But I can tell you what I see. And I do see, is there some kind of like earplug or something that's made for this? Like something, I'm feeling like there's something that he could put in his ears. Like I've seen these earplugs before where they do something to the background sound or whatever. But what I'm seeing these, so that makes me believe that they can be used for this as well. I'm not saying it's going to eliminate all of the noise. It also makes him feel weird too. It's not just the sound, but like sometimes I feel like it makes him feel just weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It like throws him off.
Right.
Maybe even makes him a little bit dizzy or something when he starts thinking about it. So he definitely is letting this really have a big impact on his life.
It's a tough one there because I like just having it, and I'm sitting here listening to us talk.
Yeah.
And I'm paying attention now to the ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
And I realize that there's a double-edged sword going on there. That's actually something going on in my ears. But at the same time, if I choose to focus on it, it gets worse.
Yes, for sure.
You know, it gets louder.
Yes.
So that aspect of it too of, you know, when she said he just wants to sit on the couch. Well, most likely you're doing that either watching TV or you're on a phone and it's relatively quiet.
Right. Yeah.
So you're going to notice it more.
Right, exactly.
Instead of doing things to occupy your mind.
Right.
But that's not going to work in every situation either.
I honestly think that he's using it as an excuse, and I'll explain why. I have had chronic migraines since I was 16 years old. And one thing that I learned along the way was it really did stop me from feeling good, but it didn't stop me from living my life. Because, and you say sometimes, you know, is it bad? Should we stay home or whatever? And it's like, well, I'm going to feel bad whether I'm home or I'm somewhere else. So why not just feel bad somewhere else? Like, what good is sitting on the couch thinking about it and sitting in it going to do for me?
That's kind of where I was trying to go with that.
Yeah.
You know, and be nice about it. But yeah, I feel like that's in a quiet place that all you're going to do is sit and think and hear that.
Right. And sometimes I think like maybe it gets worse when it is really noisy, and that might be how the earplugs help. But that's the number one thing that I'm seeing. Also, I'm just seeing some kind of therapy like in the jaw area. Does he clench his jaw? Like that could have a lot to do with this, because I'm seeing some kind of massage up through the jawbone up into the ears. And again, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what this means or why this would help. But if it is related to the jaw, that would make a lot of sense. Not just like with me, like when I push it forward, but like if you're clenching all the time, that will cause the muscles everywhere to hurt. So that's something else I'm seeing. So I would suggest that as well, to look into, is this TMJ related? What does some face massage type stuff do?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it might be clear or be helpful to be more clear on, was this some sort of accident that was caused and he's had it ever since, or is just this something that's gone on and gotten progressively worse with age? A
lot of people have it.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
It's very, very common.
But yeah, I think for a lot of us, it's really annoying. You know, the best way I can kind of describe it is, and I always remember this in the desert areas. Sometimes we go to Havasu, and you'd hear the power lines.
Yeah,
and they're kind of going. Zzz,
yes.
You know, it's sort of like that, or like a faint crickets.
Yes.
How they are in deserts, where it's just this. it's not crickets, but it's the other thing. What is the other thing that kind of makes that steady?
June bug thing?
Maybe that's June
the
bugs.
ones in Vegas.
It's like a steady, like zzz,
that, yeah.
kind of. It's not a cricket sound,
Right? Yeah.
That alternates.
Yeah.
It's more steady. But it's very, for me, faint, but it's always there.
I do have that too. Usually that's more related to my sinuses.
Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know. That might be something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It might just be all of this stuff that's here, but it is about relieving it and figuring out what is causing it. And if they don't know what's causing it, then it's kind of process of elimination. Right. I don't really think like I can give you an exact, besides those things, of what to do about this. But I will say that the biggest message that I'm getting for him is that should not be stopping him from living his life.
No.
And I understand it sucks. It really does. But still, go on with your life because you will start to forget that it's there. It might, it's like with my migraines. It's like if I go out and I do something, I'll feel fine for a little while and be like, oh, look at that, I'm feeling better. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a pain. It's life, unfortunately. So hopefully he can find a way to come out of that depression. And that you asked how you can help him. And that's the biggest thing that I think you can do is somehow try and guide him out of that depression to help him, maybe plan a trip, plan something that you guys can do that if there's certain things that like make it worse for him, just avoid those things if possible. Like if flying is a trigger, maybe just try driving somewhere or taking a train or whatever it is. Just, because I think that something like that will get him out of his depression a little bit. It's a process. It's not like you can just snap your fingers and you're out of it. But one of the things that I've noticed about life is that when I have something planned, something to look forward to, it makes life better, makes life more interesting. So I like to have a trip planned if possible because, it gives you a reason to do stuff and look forward to stuff. Mm-hmm. So maybe that would also be good. I know he's worried about the ears, but I really feel like this can be managed.
Maybe start with an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and see what they say.
I would have to guess he's done that. But if he hasn't, I definitely would start there because they can help. I would assume in some way. But those two things I'm seeing, the like massage around the ears and the jaw and even the sinuses, I would say. And then the earplug things.
Yeah.
Yep. So I hope that helps, Melissa, and that your husband.
I've had tubes in my ears twice, so I have mine looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising I've got ringing, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm losing my hearing too. That's probably from having my headphones in all the time. But
what?
All right. Yeah, what? Yeah. All right, let's go on to another one. This is from Brittany. She said, I would be very gracious for a psychic reading for myself, but she didn't ask a question. So we're just going to see what comes up because you just never know. You never know. Okay, so Brittany, you have this tremendous aura about you. You are one of those people that when you walk into a room, it just lights the room up and you don't even notice it most of the time. Like, I really don't think that you even understand this about yourself, that you just have this angelic glow that people like to be around. It's like a moth to a flame. People are attracted to you. They like to be around you. But you still feel very self-conscious about yourself, even though there's people that would love to be you is what I'm feeling, which is, crazy to think that, but it's true. There's people that I feel look at you and go, wow, I would love to, she's beautiful. She has her stuff together. She's this, she's that. And so for you kind of have that more like self-conscious type thing. But if you only knew that the way that the people around you looked at you, it would change your perception of yourself. So that's something that we kind of have to remember is that nobody looks at us the same way that we look at ourselves. We think they do. We think that they're thinking what we're thinking that they're thinking, but they're not. So, you just be you, be unapologetically you because you are a beautiful person and that's what people love about you. Let's see what else I get for you. Let's see. I do feel like you have some different worries right now, things that you don't normally deal with is what I'm feeling. I feel like this, has something to do with one of your kids. But it's not something that I feel is like a huge deal. It's just a mom's issue is what I'm feeling. Like you're feeling insecure about one of your kids, something that they might be doing or a change or whatever, it kind of makes me feel like Marina going to school, off to college. It's kind of like that feeling of like, I know I'm supposed to feel good about this or whatever, but I'm nervous or there's just a nerve that I feel. And what I'm hearing is it's okay, just relax. Everything's going to be fine. You don't need to worry about all these things that you're worrying about. Things are going to be better than you think they are. Like you're not looking at them as a pessimist would, which is good. You are looking at things with some positivity, but where on the negative side you are looking, you don't need to do that because none of those things are going to come to fruition or even close. So whatever the situation is that you're stressing on, don't worry about it, is what I'm feeling. But, it's always easy for the other side to say, don't worry about it. It's fine. And it's like, do you remember when you were human? Because it's hard. Being human is hard. So try not to let yourself worry too much. You are human. But I feel like there's something coming up for you that has something to do with animal, horse, some kind of event. So this is a fun event, something like a show of some kind. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it looks like a horse show. Maybe a dog show. I don't know. Looks like fun. So enjoy it. But yeah, when you don't ask a question, you just get random things that the universe wants to give. So there's
a horse show.
There's a horse show, yeah. Because a lot of times people just ask me, do you see anything that I'm going to be doing? And one of my regular clients asked me that one day, and I was like, I see you at the beach, with your kids and stuff. And then they ended up going to, I can't remember what beach, but yeah, it was a vacation. Huh. So, it just gives you a little insight of what's coming or whatever. But
cool.
Yeah. So there you have it, Brittany.
Thanks, Brittany.
All right, let's get to the next one. This is Jennifer Hemphill.
Jennifer
Yay.
Hemphill.
Yay. She's a good friend.
Yes.
She says, a psychic reading would be so much fun. I'm kind of all over the place and have no idea where my crazy life is taking me. So let's get down to it. So I also feel like you're another person with a lot of change going on in your life. A lot of big things, but little things too. There's like I'm seeing, sometimes I draw cards on psychic readings, but I don't have my cards. And so when that happens, occasionally I'll have a flash of a tarot card that fits the situation.
Yeah.
And the card that I'm seeing is the Wheel of Fortune. And what the Wheel of Fortune is about is the cycle, right? Life is a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
So wherever you are right now in your journey, this is kind of a new part of the cycle. Like you see things are starting to change here and move in a different direction than they were before. I feel like this is probably because your boys are all mostly grown now, but I feel like you have a lot more freedom than you used to, and you don't know what to do with a lot of this time on your hands, that it kind of makes you crazy. Like you kind of wish that you had grandkids around you so that you could spoil them and have something to do when you get home from work. So I can understand that. Your kids were it for so long, and now they're grown, and so they still need their mother, but they don't need that side of things, which is hard because you want to baby them, you want to clean up after them and cook for them and whatever it is that you want to do, and they don't need that stuff anymore, and that's hard to handle. But I feel like you will replace a lot of that time with, it's not a new hobby per se. I want to say that this is more gardening, but there's something more deeper to it. Almost
She's into gardening a lot. I see a lot of that.
It's almost like being involved in like a gardening club or like something deeper there where you'll meet people and enjoy different types of people so that you have something to do in your downtime so that you're not always just, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like you time is important. That even though these changes are going on and you might have more time, that you still don't take care of yourself the way that you should. There's the self-care, you're still lacking in the self-care. So you feel like self-care is selfish, is what I feel. And that is not selfish at all. Self-care is the most important kind of care, because how do you take care of other people if you're not taken care of properly?
Yeah.
So do something nice for yourself is what the universe is saying.
Yeah.
Whatever you like, get a pedicure, get a massage, go take yourself on a shopping spree. Do something nice for yourself is what I'm feeling, because you do nice things for everybody else.
Yeah, you do.
So. Yeah.
I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that, actually.
Yeah.
We live in the same town as her, and we don't see each other very much, and that's okay. We all got lives, and we're busy. But she has been, Jennifer has been in my life connected to our family for a long time.
Yeah.
And our daughter is roughly the same age as her twin boys, and she has one son, I think it's a little older. But she was our daughter's kindergarten and first grade teacher. Mm-hmm. And she was the first teacher that allowed me to come into her class and teach art for an hour to the students. And then she let me do it the second year. And because of that, then every other teacher up until sixth grade allowed me to come in and do the same thing. It was like a no-brainer. Like, is your dad coming in this year? And that was so awesome. She was and is a wonderful teacher. The way she worked with those kids and interacted, she was amazing. And I think she had a lot to do with the way Marina kind of turned out. That she made learning exciting.
Yeah.
She was like really excited to be there. She has this bundle of energy. She's very short, small.
Yeah.
But she has this bundle of energy. You do, and it's wonderful. And
it's contagious.
You know, you did a lot of wonderful things for me. You were instrumental in making sure that I was, during my divorce, that I was in my daughter's life.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
It means the world to me. So I just want to do something nice for you and tell you that thank you for everything you did for us.
Yes.
You know, you're a great person. So
I agree with that. And you know what? Also, like, she accepted me into the mix too.
Uh-huh.
And like, even when I first started coming out about my abilities, was like, oh, let's put some stuff together. You know, she's very open. And
I was still married when I first met her. So
yep.
When you came into the picture, it was like, oh, yeah, this is my new wife.
Yeah. She brought us a cool housewarming gift when we moved in here. Yep. It says,
welcome-ish.
Welcome-ish.
Depends on who you are.
Yeah, exactly. The Joneses, welcome-ish. Depends on who you are. It was perfect.
So, anyways, love you, Jen. Thanks.
Yeah, love you. Thank you for that. And, you know, thank you for being a friend.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Next one is Chanel. She says, psychic reading, please. What do I need to hear from my spirit guides? Am I on the right path in life right now? Okay, so I've done readings for Chanel. And
Charlie.
Yes.
Chanel.
And her fiance Charlie before on the show. They have 3 kids, 3 very young kids, and they are very young themselves, early 20s. Yeah. So they're, you know, that's a young age to have all the responsibility that you guys have, obviously. And so they're constantly going through this change and growing and learning with each other and trying to, like, life isn't easy. When you have 3 kids, life isn't easy, period. But it's like her and Charlie have really, really worked on things, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really tough. And so I feel like that's one area that I want to get into is what I'm feeling, but I also want to get into spiritual stuff. So let's cover the relationship first. This is not an easy relationship that you guys have. It's not meant to be. It's meant to teach you. It's meant to further you in your lessons in life. And you guys made this soul contract with each other. And I've said this to you from the beginning because you guys have been through a lot. And I don't encourage divorce or breakups or whatever. I go by whatever the universe tells me to do. No matter what the situation is, I always tell what the universe tells me that they're supposed to do. And from the beginning, I've been told that these 2 are supposed to try and make this work. Yeah. As hard as it is, they're supposed to try because that is the sole agreement that they came into this life with. If they cannot make it work, it's okay. It breaks the soul agreement, and then they'll have to come back in another life and try again. Right. So that's really up to you guys, you know?
I think you have to consider, though, what the alternate may be, and that it may not be as easy as it may appear to be single or not in the relationship.
Yes.
Actually, when being in the relationship might actually be much easier when what the alternate is going to be.
Right, especially when you have 3 kids.
Exactly.
I'm not saying you stay for your kids. I'm just saying that there's co-parenting here. And you guys, it's hard because you come from one place and he comes from another. And you're raising 3 kids with different sets of beliefs. And so you're trying to figure this all out while trying to have a relationship at a very young age where you don't have the experience yet to know, that life is different than what you perceive it to be right now. This is just a moment in time, what you're experiencing right now. You have a long life ahead of you to experience all of the things that you guys want to experience. You don't have to rush to do anything right now because there's time. Time is on your side. So what I'm hearing is just take your time. You guys need to learn to communicate together better, even if that means maybe going to counseling. I try to help as much as I can, but I'm not a therapist. And so, it's...
Even if you sat down and, like, the counseling's a great idea, too, but I heard that, too. Like, I saw them sitting and writing a list. Mm-hmm. So, okay, is it about religion? Is there a difference?
No.
Okay. But there's certain things that growing up, you're going to have different opinions about how to parent the children.
Yeah.
So sit down and write a list.
Yeah.
And come to an agreement on the certain things that you feel like you're maybe not on the same page, because you don't want to be doing that in front of the kid.
No.
Because first of all, that's an added extra tension and stress for the whole family that they don't need to be involved with.
Yes.
And could cause them trauma depending on how obnoxious the argument gets,
right.
And that also sets them up to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
If they can see that you're not united.
Yes.
Then they can start to play you.
Yes. Well, and
as they get older.
You make a very valid point, though, too. Like, all of these things, they're meant for us to work on together. But as far as the children go, it's things like seeing your parents fight and hearing, like, I have a client I work with, and her kid has heard them fighting several times. And she worries about her daughter and what's going on here and why she's so upset. So one time it was, she heard things in the arguments that to an adult don't sound so threatening, but to a child is like, whoa, it's traumatizing. So we have to be very careful about that too, what we say in front of our kids, the type of energy that we give off. Even, when you're in a bad mood, you're fighting against each other, it's really still important for the kids to see you united and not fighting. Like, do that on your own time, because it stresses them out, and then they start to have their own issues, There's a cycle there. But anyways, so better communication here is what you guys really need to work on more, and however you choose to do that. There's so many different ways, but that will help the relationship. I want to get into the spiritual side of things real quick. I think this is important. I feel like, Chanel, you're spiritually growing a lot, but Charlie's not growing with you, and that's a part of the divide here. Mm-hmm. I do feel like this comes in ebbs and flows. So sometimes you're more aligned, and then other times you're not. When you're not, it's very difficult because he doesn't want to hear it. And I understand, because we both have those moments, where it's like, I don't want to hear about it right now. Just keep your spiritual nonsense to yourself. But you're allowed to have a bad mood. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But what I feel like is he's lost a lot of like faith and stuff. And so... bringing him back in, not shutting him out from it. Like, you keep moving is what I'm feeling. You keep moving with your spiritual stuff, but you still have to look back every once in a while and go, come on, Charlie, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And then he might get to the point where he takes over that lead at some point. But right now I feel like you have to go, come on, let's go. Let's get back on track here, because you know what it feels like when you're aligned with the universe, and all of that is what I'm feeling. But I feel like you're doing great. You're seeing things differently. You're understanding things differently. You still have those moments where I see you falling off the wagon, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just dusting yourself off and getting back on.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to take a minute just to address kind of the man side.
Sure.
The father side of this. Because let's face it, okay, no matter how, even if you both worked 40 hours a week, and I think you guys have a company that you own together, if I'm correct.
It's like a
flipping houses.
Flipping houses,
okay.
Yeah.
So, if you're both equally working, 40 hours a week, you're even there.
Yeah.
But typically, I'm going to be honest, most cases with the children, more responsibility lies on the mother. Mm-hmm. It just does, especially at the earlier years. Yeah. Because kid falls down, ma,
Yeah.
It's usually, that's the first they run to. I'm not saying every time, but I would say more so.
Yeah.
And so you do have a greater responsibility there as a mom. And I'm not knocking Charlie's responsibility as a father, because you got to go out there and earn a living to support your wife and your children. Well, there's also the basic human needs that come into play in a marriage and any relationship, but especially a marriage. But there becomes this balance of, when do your basic human needs get met when there's a house full of children?
Right.
And among that children, there are dilemmas and arguments and disagreements. And then when are we on the same page? And I'm talking intimacy, okay?
Right.
When are we on the same page to make that happen?
Right.
Well, I think as a man, and there's two things. This is part of bred into us genetically, egotistically, I think. And then also through what we've learned.
Right.
And that is, I busted my butt all day, right? And I come home and I want my dinner.
Right.
And I want what I want, right? Well, that's just not always going to happen.
That's not really this day and age.
But you would be amazed on how many people have been raised that way.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of this underlying in your understanding of what a man's role is.
Right.
Or a father, head of household, whatever
Right.
it is you want to call it in your world, in your mind, your ego.
Yeah.
That isn't always really that way, is my point. Is that maybe that isn't the situation here.
Right.
And we have to consider that because a lot of the responsibility, and maybe a greater percentage, relies on the mom, she might be more tired.
Yes.
Emotionally,
Yeah.
because they are more emotionally connected. So that's a whole different kind of tired than physically tired.
Yeah.
So this is something we have to understand and compromise and communicate about, and not get angry and hold against each other.
Right.
Because there are times definitely that you're like, I'm exhausted. And I understand that. I don't make a big deal about that, So I just feel like, I'm not trying to get too personal, but I'm saying this is a part of any relationship.
Yeah.
And recognizing that there is both communication, spiritual growth, and intimacy that have to be recognized.
Right.
And have to be addressed, have to be talked about.
Yeah, well, I don't think that they have a problem talking about it. Like, I've done a lot of readings for them, and that's not a problem.
Talking is one thing, but can you compromise?
I think they try their best.
Right.
But that's a whole other issue. But
Right.
I don't, that for a couple with 3 kids, I definitely see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And I think that can absolutely be a problem. And I don't think that that's just one-sided. I think that you're opening up a whole can of worms there, because there's women have needs too, and it might not be the same as men. But if a man is always going, well, I want this, I want this, I want this, and it's like, well, who do you think you are?
No, I'm sorry for it coming out that way. I didn't mean, that could be totally flipped. And like you said, it could be the woman's side too.
Yeah.
Everybody has needs.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
But not necessarily at the same time,
Right.
or at the same moment.
Yes, it's important that you have those intimate moments. Not just those, but like, I think more importantly for you guys is like just having a date night.
Right. Like, where were we before all the kids and all this? Like, that love and that connection, communication.
Right.
Can you get that?
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know.
So I hope that helps, Chanel. But I think that you guys, you're working on it. You're on the right track, and you're working on your spiritual stuff, and you will get there. So try not to worry too much.
Good luck.
Okay, let's see who the next one is. Sunshine.
Oh my God.
Okay. This is the best I have that's recent. Do you have any spiritual guidance on how to coexist with my mother here? Can you tell if she is mentally well? I know we love each other, but the sudden verbal attacks are more than I know how to respond to out of love and not PTSD protection. I know I'm okay. Why does she break me down so much? Sudden as in snap. We can be fine, then suddenly not. I can drive for hours, and suddenly she's screaming at me that I'm drunk, though I'm driving and have been with her every second. Like, WTF. Wow. Okay, yeah. it sounds like you're, first of all, yeah, there's definitely some mental illness here. And that's playing a big part in this, a big part. And it's so, I think a lot of us understand what it's like to have a mother like this, or we know a mother like this that is just can snap on you at any minute. And so you're constantly sitting there going, ooh, when is the next snap going to happen? What you have to remember is that this isn't about you. And that's really, really hard because, of course, when somebody snaps on you, it makes you feel like, what have I done wrong? I didn't do anything. Like you said, I'm just sitting here. It's not you, it's her. And I don't think that there's anything that you can do to really make the relationship better. You are very, very understanding and very patient with her as much as you can be. It's really hard because I feel like in a lot of ways, you're the mother in this situation, not her. You're the mother. Yeah. And that is confusing because you need a mother and she's not being that mother that you need at all. Yeah. So, I really wish that I had a fix for you here. I really do. I really wish I could say, do this and it'll make it better. But that's not how this goes. You'll always be the daughter. And a lot of times this is what happens with mothers and daughters, especially mothers that have mental illness, is they end up taking it out on their children. They end up, especially on their daughters for whatever reason. If you have siblings and you're the one that she's chosen, well, there's usually one that's chosen.
I feel like it comes out of the daughters a lot too because of, young woman. Yeah. I used to be a young woman. Look how young like a lot of that is, I hate to say it, might be vanity.
Right.
And a little bit.
Yeah.
But like just maybe not so about just the beauty, but your youth.
Yeah.
That I used to have that and I don't anymore. And I'm envious and I'm upset and I'm jealous. I think that's more normal than we realize.
I think that plays a lot into mother-daughter relationships. Absolutely. Yeah. And, we have Marina, and she's my stepdaughter. Mm-hmm. And I look at her, and I'm jealous of certain things about her life, but not in like a bad way, like where I look at her and as it's competition, I look at her and go, damn, you have some really great opportunities. Yeah. And that's what mothers should do. They should be like
uplifting.
Right, exactly. Like
not competitive.
I didn't get to do this, but you are. And and your mother, Sunshine, is definitely not like that. She's not like, I want to lift you up at all. She's not. And that sucks. And I'm really sorry for that. And I really wish that there was something that I could say that would just make the relationship better or that you could do, but it's not your fault.
No.
I think if there's anything that you can do, and it's really hard, and I do work with a lot of people in different kinds of situations like this, is where when they start getting upset, you don't play into it. Instead of getting upset with them, you just shrug it off or whatever. It's not a big deal. Like when she said that you were drunk, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know how upset she got. But if it was just, you're drunk, pull over or whatever, I would just ignore her, It's the playing into it a lot that makes it worse. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if you ignore some of these things, that it's not going to escalate. It's not going to make it worse. The problem is this puts you in the parental role. Yeah. And I feel like you're always going to be in the parental role with her. And
I think, I wish you knew how close to home this hit for our family.
Yep.
And the one thing I continuously share with our daughter is about boundaries.
Yes.
Setting your boundaries, and you got to set them, but you got to stick to them.
Yes.
So, and you'll see a difference in the mother's behavior, but you got to stick to your guns. And you have to set some tough boundaries sometimes.
You do. I don't know if you see it, but I see
absolutely.
in your mother the same thing that he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is, it could be borderline personality disorder.
Yeah, I can feel it from the photograph.
Oh, absolutely.
You're both beautiful, and I can see that there's a long history there.
Yeah.
Of good times and bad times.
Yeah.
But you are essentially the mom.
Yep.
And that's tough.
So tough.
You're never, and I don't have the answer for my own child, to be honest with you, on how to fill that void inside of her.
Yep.
I just constantly tell her, you can talk to me, but try to be aware of your own behaviors.
Yep.
Because you can repeat these without even knowing it.
Yep.
And it'll become your habit. And that's not right. The biggest thing here is to break that cycle. Mm-hmm. Make that change so this type of behavior stops with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when your child, if you ever have one or whatever, that won't be the case.
I was actually going to say that. She doesn't want to have kids.
That's okay too.
And what's interesting now is like getting deeper into this, because I don't think I've ever really gotten into her mom, is that I absolutely can see like, one of the reasons why you wouldn't, because you are concerned about repeating patterns and those things, and that, the mental illness and blah, blah,
There's
blah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. So it's probably, you probably are making a good decision there, because also like you don't know what it's like to have a stable mother figure.
And that's still breaking the cycle.
It is breaking the cycle. Yes, absolutely. So I know that's probably not the answer to the question that you wanted. If you haven't listened to the radio show that I do, the Beyond the Bridge episode, When Mom's the Problem, I would, because I think that a lot of things in that episode will fit with your relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I hope that helps, Sunshine.
Yeah, it's so hard when you, like, what do you say? Like, you just love them as much as you can and leave them be when you need to. I don't know.
It's so hard. It really is, because especially like the mother-daughter relationship, it's like you really want that kind of bond with your mother, and then when she treats you like that, it's like, well, how can you treat me like that? Like, I literally came out of your body. How can you treat me like that? And it blows my mind, but I'll tell you that I come across way more bad moms than I do bad dads.
Yeah.
By far. Absolutely. And it's not that they're bad. There's just so much mental illness, and so much like damage from childhood that everybody's carrying on, and then they don't know how to deal with it. And
repeating it.
Exactly. It's just, it's vicious cycles. It's like, really, it's simple. If you stop and you look at how it all works, it really just is about the cycle breaker breaking the cycle. And if we all did that, it would change things majorly.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for a lot of people to break the cycle.
Same reason why a lot of people end up marrying somebody like their mother.
Yes.
For their first relationship.
I did it.
I did it too.
Yeah. I don't know why that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's part of this learning thing that we do. And maybe part of it is a test, to see, like, can you recognize that?
Yeah.
Because if you can recognize that, then you should be able to know that something's not right and that this isn't where you belong.
Right. Yep.
If it's not the case, then this is where you belong.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next one, shall we? All right. This is for Lisa. Lisa says, can you tell me if I will find love or have the chance to be a mother? I realize I can't carry a child. She had lung transplant.
Oh.
But if I met a wealthy guy, we can use a surrogate, or if I meet a guy with a young child, it can be a bonus.
Absolutely. To all those.
Yeah. So Lisa's been a client of mine for a few years, and I don't think she realized until today that I actually do like human readings, because I've always worked with her cats, and her cats are having an issue right now. And so she brought me into that, and I was like, you know what? Like, because she mentioned, you do people too? And I said, yeah, I do people. And I said, we're going to do this episode. Let me read for you in the episode. Right. Let's do this, because she's been through so much. And so, yeah, let's get down to it. So I absolutely do feel like there is somebody out there for you. I don't know that these will be biological children of yours or like surrogacy. I almost feel like this person already has children, but they're younger. Like that he will be going through a divorce, or have recently gone through a divorce when you meet. And I see at least two, but there could be a third one here too, but I feel like there's one in particular that you're going to have a very, very strong bond with. I see you hugging her and kissing her on the top of her head and doing all of those motherly things with her. So even though this might not biologically be your child, I feel like you will love these children just as if they are. And yeah, for your body, you couldn't do that, but sometimes and it goes back to with what we were talking about with Sunshine and our own situations here. Sometimes there's children that need a good mother figure.
Yes.
And I like with the Marina situation,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't want my own kids. And so like you guys had her, but I got to experience life with her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Lisa, it's the same kind of thing for you, that you will get to experience life with these children. You will get to experience what it is like to be a mother.
Right.
It just will be different than, in the way that they're not biologically yours, but you will love them like they are. Absolutely.
And keep this in mind, too, sort of going along with what you said, is that they may need you as much as you need them.
Yes.
So I will
if not
say
more.
that Samantha did not want little children and babies and diapers and puke and bottles. She wasn't interested in that. And that's okay. To each his own.
Yeah.
But she did have the motherly instinct and want to have that connection and relationship and hoped that someday maybe she would.
Right.
Even if that meant meeting somebody that had kids, and voila, wouldn't you know, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But more importantly, other than just that happening, was the influence and effect that
Yes.
Samantha had on my biological daughter compared to the effect that was that was being had on her by her own biological mother was significantly two ends of the spectrum different.
And that's what I think is going to happen here.
So please keep that in mind.
Yep.
It's not always going to be roses,
Yeah, no.
okay?
No.
Because if mom is somewhere, biological mom is somewhere in the picture, they might
Might be rough, yeah.
want to rock the boat a little.
Yeah.
But you be the bigger person and the stronger one by your being the role model.
Right.
And how you react and act towards these children, regardless of what the situation is, if that's what the situation is,
Right.
they will pick up on that.
Right.
And they will know this and they'll trust you. So
Absolutely. And you absolutely have that motherly vibe that you give off, that you'll be good at this. You'll be able to give them what they need. And they, like Danny said, they will give you what you needed. It's like a give and take type of
Yes.
thing. So don't discount it. The thing here is that you have to get yourself out there.
Yeah.
This guy's not just going to come knocking on your door. You have to go find him a little bit. So you have to put yourself out there. And it doesn't mean you have to, go to bars, obviously, or
There's
church
plenty of
or
ways.
wherever it is that you think you're going to meet a man.
No.
Go online.
yes.
Yeah, that's it. A really good way to meet somebody. And, these things take time. And the universe has to align it correctly.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel like you're still doing you. You spent so much time being sick that now is your time to do you.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't it? Like, just get out there and do the things that you want to do. I'm sure that your body still has some limitations to it, but man, just the difference, I'm
But
sure.
you have to have an appreciation like no one else.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the universe wants to give you, they've watched you. I don't know, I get this overwhelming feeling like they've watched you go through this.
Yeah.
And persevere. And this is not easy.
No.
A lung transplant, holy moly.
No.
But you have. And now you're on the upswing.
Yep.
And they want to give you the things that you're dreaming of. But I think Samantha's right. You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And a little more.
Yeah.
And not be so afraid of that aspect. The right person and situation will come along just because you're sort of telling them what you want.
Right. This isn't just to you, Lisa. I want to say this to everybody that might be looking for the right person and thinking that it's not out there. You need to be you when you're looking for the right person. If you're worried about that the right person isn't going to like something about you, or that you're not pretty enough for the right person, then guess what? That's the wrong person.
Yeah.
You're just attracting the wrong person. So when you go on these dating sites or you go and meet people, be yourself, because you will attract the person that is supposed to be to you. Otherwise, you're just attracting somebody that isn't. If you're pretending to be something you're not. There's going to be somebody out there for everybody. My mom used to say, there's a lid for every can. You just got to try some lids and see if, if it's your can. That's all. Try the shoes on before.
But the sites are really great because, you know what? You can sift through a lot of, unwanted solicitation and baloney.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
You can start to narrow it down to, and then you don't have to go on a date right away.
No.
You can have a conversation and get an idea of what this person is like through a conversation via text or their app or whatever. And then if you feel like, hey, this is going somewhere, cool. Now we'll go and actually meet each other.
Yeah.
But I like that whole element of,
I did too, yeah.
You don't have to go out every time.
Right, totally.
You're like, okay, you start talking and you're like, this person sounds like a knucklehead. Goodbye.
Yeah, you gotta
next.
go.
Yeah. You save yourself a lot of time.
You really do. And I think one of the hard things there is that sometimes there's rejection and people don't like rejection. But again, you're just getting rejected by the people that you're not supposed to be with.
Exactly.
The person that you're supposed to be with will not reject you for who you are.
Yep.
So that really is to everybody. Stop trying to attract what's not meant for you and put out there who you are. Because, Lisa, I see for you somebody that's so much like you, like in a good way. You're going to be like, whoa, what happened here?
Yeah.
Like, same kind of intricacies. Like, I don't know you personally, and I've never been around you, but I'm seeing like certain body movements that are the same, or like habits that are the same, that you both are going to be like, whoa, that's weird. So yeah, it's out there for you. It is. But
just believe.
Yes, but right now, just do you for a little while. Yeah. It's going to come to you. I feel like, and I know this is hard, but I feel like intuitively you'll know when the time is getting closer. You'll start to think about this more and more and more. And like this reading and like I'm seeing this guy with dark hair is what I'm seeing. And you're going to start to think about these things more. And when you do, that's when the time is getting closer. Yeah. And that's when you should start doing online dating or whatever, wherever you want to go. We haven't been single for a long time, thankfully now. Yeah. It's been like 10 years, so I'm sure the dating scene's different. I'd probably be shocked as to what's actually going on out there, but I know, I don't
know if it's that different.
I don't know.
It's not like Jim Rose's Side Circus show.
Dude, I don't know, because I'll tell you, the time between when I met my first husband and got divorced, it changed a lot. It sure did change a lot. It's like, how do you do this? I don't even remember.
You sound really old there.
I am old. Anyways, he's out there. But for right now, just do a little bit more you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the way that you feel now, getting healthier, and try not to worry so much, because life will go the way it's supposed to, but you have to kind of let your guard down and just allow it to go that way. It's hard. It is. It's really hard.
And don't be in a rush, because kids is a lifetime commitment.
It is. So. Yeah. I know. I can feel how much she loves kids and how much she wants them. And sometimes these things don't go the way that we have planned, and it sucks, but there's always a reason. And I really do feel that it's because this guy and his kids are going to need you, and without you, these kids wouldn't turn out the same way. Yeah. So I hope that helps, Lisa.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Friend.
So yay.
Good.
There, we did it.
See, you didn't think you would have enough.
I never know, because, you don't...
This is Philosophy Chatter. Did you not know what we do on this channel? We
no,
chatter.
I know this. I'm aware of this.
Philosophize.
But, you just never know. Like last week, I think I had this many animal readings, and it didn't go as long. So, yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. So.
Well, very nice.
Very good.
Good job. Hope that everybody that got those readings, you get something out of them.
I do too. I love to do them. The psychic readings I really enjoy, because I feel like I can help people. Like, I know talking to your animals and talking to your dead loved ones is helpful, but hearing about your life and maybe hearing about certain things that even like you're sitting in yourself and you're thinking about this and you're like, oh, I just got called out on it. Yeah. Sometimes that's the wake up call that we need to be like, Yeah.
And if you didn't get a reading and you heard one of these today, I hope that maybe that might encourage you to reach out, maybe ask for one.
Yeah,
if you found it interesting.
I would love that.
So,
yep.
Cool. Well, how about share our information one more time, and then we'll say goodbye.
Let's do it. So you can find me, SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. You can find everything you need to know about me there.
Very
and
good.
our show here too as well.
Awesome.
And you, sir.
For my art, again, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonescollection, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I forgot to mention my photography, djones71 photography for Instagram. So
Yay.
check it out. And that's it for moi.
Fabulous.
Well, we hope again that everybody got something out of it.
Yes, we did.
And if you got a reading, hope it helps.
Yeah,
and if
hope
you
you
didn't,
enjoyed
maybe it encourages you again to try,
yes.
because they're pretty cool.
I enjoyed it.
And everybody have a great week.
Yes.
Until next week.
Peace and love.